Hello. We'll be getting started in just a moment. I want to talk a little bit more about that quantum matter. As always, I'm in a fast. I'm burning Egyptian musk oil. I'm burning the perfume. I still couldn't find any. It burned real slow too. Just stopped for no reason. Oh, that's why I want to bless Mama. Because the information that God's children are bringing right now is dangerous to the kingdom of Satan. Yeah, but I'm burning incense to the Lord, the true creator. Stomp on his head. Jesus, always. Jesus, always. When you came into my life, day and night. Now, me too. Now I'm found. I'm gonna make my own words. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Jesus. Jesus. You can't stop me till it's time, baby. If it's time to take me out, that's when the Lord gonna say, come up here. Come on. Game over. But until then, I'm gonna bring you. Yes. I didn't have to do too much preparing of this message because I worked on it a little bit last night. So I just want to start off by saying that these people are heathens. Okay? They are people who are trying to live after the good Lord comes and burns this earth up. They're trying to figure out how they're going to have life after the good Lord, after the true creator. That's what all of this is all about. Okay? That's why they don't mind doing things to destroy and siphoning this earth's resources. They don't mind because they know that it's not theirs anyway. They are copying the physics of this world right now. They are mimicking it because Satan does not have the power of true creation. So he has to copy everything that he gets from the Lord. And he's doing this so he can make a world of his own. Still, it's going to have flaws because if you watched my last video on this, it's the tsunami, the abyss. Go back and watch that so you can understand what I'm talking about here. there's a mathematics from 0 to 1. And in between that, they try all possibilities in between 0 and 1. So they try a half, they try a third, they try a fourth, they try a sixth, they try a seventh. They try all and each and every possibility. And in that, they call superposition of possibilities from 0 to 1. Even though they're at their most superpower at that time, because they're able to do things that we aren't in this dimension. But I'll go into it in the video. They also are in a very fragile state. Even though it's their strongest state, it's also their most fragile state. If you even observe or look on while they're in that fragile state, then they go back to 0 or 1. They go back to off or on. They go back to dead or alive. This is the world that they're creating. It sounds very unstable to me. Like I say, please, Lord, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't have that kind of power to tell you what to do. But please, Father, come quick for me. Because I don't want to be in this world. But this is the world that he's creating with quantum matter. And then, like, if anything else gets in the way, it can cause the quantum matter to go in that direction. So they just gonna have to shut human beings down completely or something. I don't understand. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around all of it. It is so out there, and I don't have a mind like they do. So, and the Lord is just blessing me to be able to understand some of this, what they're talking about. They doing a lot of fancy talk for conjuring, summoning demons, and voodoo. They do a lot of fancy talk for it. But that's all it is at the end of the day, okay? But the Lord is allowing me to understand that language. See, everybody think tongues is being able to speak Hebrew and Spanish and French and German. Hey, tongues is being able to understand a language that Satan don't want you to understand. He blessing me with tongues right now because I'm decoding this mess by the grace of God. And it just brings tears to your eyes because he's serious. The adversary is serious. And now, to answer the question of Elon Musk with his lost demonic self, what's beyond the simulator? They removed that video, by the way. I was going to play that for you again. I guess that spirit that's using him and that's in him is talking just a little bit too much. They removed that video, honey. Because he's talking about what's beyond the simulator. And the Tesla car not supposed to be made until, like, just looking at the time. The Tesla car not supposed to be made. The Tesla car supposed to be made like sometime next year. And he's talking about the simulator. And they keep talking about the simulator a little ways off still. This world is a little ways off. If you get caught in this world, you have gotten left behind. Okay? And I don't know if the Lord got something for you after this. I don't know. Because my Father is merciful. And he's loving. But I just don't know. Because he's tired. So to answer Elon Musk's question, what's behind the simulator? Perdition. The lake of fire. That's what's behind the simulator, bruh. Ain't nothing but fire out there. If the simulator ever break down, if the simulator ever malfunction, if the simulator ever let you get a peek of what's really, really out there, you're not going to see nothing but fire. Because the Lord is going to burn this earth up. It's going to roll up like a scroll and disappear. John saw the kingdom of heaven come down. It ascended. The new heaven and the new earth ascended from heaven. If you get caught in this world of simulators, you done got caught in hell. And the key to the bottomless pit, it's about to be opened. They about to open that bad baby. About to open it. Let me read it to you. I'm right there at the page. I'm so into Revelations 9 right now because I'm waiting. I'm preparing for that 7th seal and that 5th trump. I stay right there in Revelations 9 right now because the rest of it has already came to pass. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit. That's the tsunami of demons they're getting ready to talking about getting ready to come up out of the abyss. The tsunami of demons that these people that's messing with quantum matter keep talking about. These are the spirits that they are summoning. And he opened the bottomless pit. And there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air, were darkened by reason of the pit. Now, my Father can do anything but lie and fail. And I have seen so much prophecy unfold in this Bible till it's not even real. We're going Revelations 8 and 10. And the 3rd angel sounded, and fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the 3rd part of the rivers, upon the fountains of waters. That's 8 and 10. Revelations 8 and 10. That's why we drink bottled water. It's already done happened. That's the 3rd angel sounded. 7th seal. 3rd trump. Okay? And the 4th angel sounded. And the 3rd part of the sun was smitten. And the 3rd part of the moon. And the 3rd part of the stars. As the 3rd part of them was darkened. And the day shone not for a 3rd part of it. And the night likewise. And that's all people talking about right now, how we don't even get the sun all day long. And we don't know what we getting up there. And they say we getting a simulator and all of that. That's the 4th trump. 7th seal is the last seal. People need to wake up. And what's coming up out of that pit get to torment you. You can read all of Revelations 9 for yourself. But what's coming up out of that pit gets to torment people for 5 months that do not have the seal of the Lord. This is yet to come. The 5th trump is yet to come. Prepare, people. Prepare. And I just made a few notes so I can stay on track here. I want to stay on track. Prepare. It's about to get so ugly. And then if they telling you in Revelations, they letting you know this is gonna be like nothing that the earth has ever seen before. I don't think it's in Revelations. And like I said, I'm not good with scripture and stuff. The Lord points me to it. But this is gonna be like nothing that the world has ever seen before. Ain't gonna be no history book to refer back to. The Lord is gonna have to be talking to his people and his children and telling us how to go get through this. He's gonna have to talk to us and tell us how to make it. Ain't no rules or instructions for this, except for to be sealed with the seal of the Lord. He's the only thing can save you. So did I say I was going to do? Yeah, I said I was going to do him first. 1 second.
Quantum materials advances.
1 second. And let's see. I said we was going to start at right here. All right, so now I just want you to remember this part that I'm showing you here from John Preskill. Notice that a lot of these names are German sounding, you know. And how he talks about how quantum matter is going to probe the brain to see how the brain works. First off, I want to know, why y'all need to know how the brain work? Who need to know how our brain work? Devils. Devils need to know how God's children brains work so that they can mimic it. And then these machines, I just want you to listen. I'm going to play it for you, but I want you to key points to listen for. These machines teach themselves. I don't know if this is the video though. This isn't the one where he mentions that the machines learn themselves. I'm jumping the gun. I'm just so mind blown by this. And they telling people, and people clapping. They at this lecture and they clapping and they yay. They yaying. We just gonna start right there. And I probably have shown you this video before. Trying to get it so it don't glare so much.
Won't be able to copy your data. Prediction. Non-invasive quantum sensors probing the brain at the molecular scale will illuminate the foundations of consciousness. We tend to think of the brain in terms of its connectome, how the neurons are wired together, and there's great complexity there. But Feynman liked to say there's plenty of room at the bottom, and that applies to the brain as well. A lot of information processing is going on at the level of individual neurons, or even shorter distance scales. With quantum sensors, we'll be able to probe that activity with unprecedented sensitivity and resolution, and that's going to teach us things about how the brain works. Prediction.
So basically he's saying they're going to be able to probe their brain without you even knowing that they probe the brain. I might go back to the beginning of this video so I can show you who all work with these people with this quantum matter. You got Google working with them. You understand? And Google is gathering information galore. It used to be they let you know what information they was gathering. People's like, oh, that I Googled my name in the beginning. Now you can't do it so much no more like you used to be able to. So they covering up, they're covering their tracks a little bit better. But Google it plays a big part in gathering information and learning how to probe your brain. That's why we got Facebook. That's why we got YouTube. And mostly when I use this platform, it's to speak for the Lord. I'm not on here talking about nothing in my personal life. My personal life is between me and my Heavenly Father. I ain't got to talk about that on YouTube and Facebook.
Optical telescopes.
This is entanglement. You can listen to it.
Will image distant objects.
It's not really one of my points.
Clarity.
Oh, just stopped.
We discovered thousands of planets in just the last few years. We'd like to be able to see what's going on there. Well, in principle, if you wanted to see an elephant on a planet which is tens of light years away, you could do so with a telescope which is as large as the Earth's orbit around the sun. That sounds like a lot to ask. But what we can imagine is an array of satellites in solar orbit, each one carrying a small telescope, but where the telescopes share entanglement. And that shared entanglement allows the many small telescopes to behave like one big telescope that can see faraway objects in very fine detail.
This is quantum matter teaching itself.
Elephant on another planet,
quadrupling.
Very, very bright elephant.
Way beyond a man's understanding.
By using entanglement, we'll be able to see more clearly.
Pay attention to this one.
In the future, we will make use of solar cells that exploit quantum effects to power the Earth. Solar energy is our best hope for a sustainable power source for human civilization.
What?
But today, solar cells are not optimally efficient. We now know that some living things, some bacteria, actually make use of quantum effects to improve their light gathering efficiency.
Light gathering? What you gathering light for?
As our knowledge of quantum materials advances.
What you need to be gathering light and carrying on for? What do we need solar cells for when we got the sun? What do you need solar cells for? What do you need solar cells for? Why are you gathering light? This is this quantum matter, gathering all the physics of this earth and this world right now so that they can mimic it. And it's going to get so dangerous because it's going to get out of man's hands. Men are not going to be able to control this thing. They already got a bunch of question marks in their head right now about certain things. But they continue to try to act like this is normal, Ain't nothing normal about this. Nothing normal about this at all. Let's see. So now I'm going to go to Wired 2014 by Eric Ladzinski. I told you these names sound so German to me. All right. And he's going to talk about how they got Google and they got a whole platform for Google to gather information. Google is one of their demonic entities too. Google gobble-gangers, copycats, the other you, the W, and this is where you're going to hear about the computers. These computers learn. Like the computer we on now, it act like we controlling it. All they got to do is get a little touch. The USB man is quantum matter. So this thing is going to come alive on us. All these computers. Your transformers, robots in disguise. So your cell phone is a robot in disguise. It's going to transform. They call it an android now. It's going to transform into something different. Once they let this quantum matter out, see, it has to stay so cold. Like I said, I've been really trying to understand this thing. And I'm not going to show you all of that video. You can go watch this video for yourself if you want to. I just gave the name of it. But it has to stay so cold for them so that the temperatures have to be like below 50. I mean, I'm talking about probably way lower than that. They just not saying, so that it doesn't pick up. If it warms up, it's going to start its physics. It's going to start its mimicking. It's going to start its copying. So they have to keep it dormant, and that's how they keeping it dormant in cold temperatures. If it ever escape those cold temperatures, beware. But like I said, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some samples of this, but they're not really going to be able to bust out and just act the fool with it until God get his children up out of here. Whew. I ain't scared, but boy, it's just so crazy.
Okay, so first thing is that human beings aren't smart enough to figure this out on our own. Our brain aren't designed.
We're not smart enough to figure this out.
Those kinds of scales. So the first thing is we now are augmenting our human intelligence. What I call networked brains, an amazing development with the internet. Say we have researchers, scientists from all over the world that can communicate at rates never before possible. There's this combinatorial explosion of ideas giving rise to a Moore's law-like effect in terms of this the rate of development of new technologies and ideas. We've built massive classical computing. That's a Google computing center.
A Google computing
amazing
center.
Amounts of data. And of course, we're creating enormous amounts of data. Genetic data is an example. Right now, we're not necessarily able to extract meaningful insights from all that data on timescales that matter. And in addition to all of that, now we're making machines that can learn. So that represents an artificial neural net. We put together elements that are rather like neurons. They have this complex interconnectivity. And when we want to do something like have a computer learn to understand natural language, or to be able to look for patterns in complex data, or do image recognition, we build something like neural nets.
Neural nets.
And since we don't know how to explicitly program that thing to look for those patterns, it learns. It goes through a recursive cycle.
It's doing its own thing. Just give us the neural nets.
Until it becomes the kind of thing that can understand natural language. The interesting thing is, with all of that, and these are awesome resources, they may not be enough to solve the scale of problems that we face as a civilization. And I'll tell you why.
Man is giving these demonic entities the power that they need to run this. They are going to be so sorry. They think they're doing something so cute. I don't know what's on their mind. I don't know what's on Elon Musk's mind. I don't know what's on John Preskill mind. Where his neck at anyway? What's on their mind? What's on their mind? What's on this dude's mind? Eric Lazinski. What's on his mind? Are y'all serious? And they keep saying man is not capable of learning on this level. Wow. I mean, like, how crazy can you be? All right, we're going to move on. Got to move on.
For the last 100 years. It's never been violated in any experiment ever done, and yet it says the ideas that underlie quantum theory that give us these amazing understandings are some of the strangest ideas humans have ever encountered. And there was almost incredulity about whether it could possibly be true, because the other thing it says about the world is that there's this strange parallelism in the world.
Parallelism.
That physical objects can occupy several different states simultaneously. This is the famous Schrodinger's cat that's alive and dead simultaneously. So particles at the microscopic level, people would see a single electron in many places simultaneously, living out many possibilities simultaneously. And one question was, why don't we see that at macroscopic scales if we're built out of those things? So for a long time, I think quantum, a lot of people working in the sciences have the shut up and calculate sort of philosophy. It's like, can the world really be that world? Are there these parallel realities playing out all these multitude of possibilities? Well, it gives us the right answers. There were a lot of ad hoc features added to quantum theory to kind of do away with that. And I'm going to tell you about some of these features that for the first time in human history in the last couple decades, we're able to manipulate at will. And this allows for an astounding possibility. So the first of these I've already mentioned, superposition. It's called quantum superposition, where a single entity, this is an object, say, traveling from point A to point B. It doesn't take a single trajectory like you're used to. It actually explores all possible trajectories. That's a very small subset of that. But imagine if that was you living out many possible histories simultaneously. So I'll tell you quantum computing in 5 seconds. Imagine you had a math problem. Well, I'll make it easier. Let's say you go to the Library of Congress. There's 50 million books. In one of them, I secretly put an X on one of the pages. I tell you to go into that library. I want you to find the X. You have 5 minutes. You say, well, okay, it's going to take me many lifetimes to go through those books sequentially. I'm not even going to take that problem. But if somehow I could put you in this magical quantum superposition in which you were in 50 million parallel realities, and in each one you try a different book. Now, the other important feature is that you have to be able to collaborate with all your other selves. And these aren't clones of yourself. The same physical matter is somehow playing out all these different roles. Talking to your other selves, we call coherent evolution. You're kind of coherent to your other selves, and you can share information. Well, now you find the book very quickly. There's another feature of quantum mechanics. When I go to query, when I open the door to the library to ask you, I only meet one of your cells.
The rest go away.
It's a measurement problem. Why is it if all that's going on, when I look, it all goes away? If they've all talked to each other, then any one of them that I happen to come upon has the answer. And that's quantum computing in a nutshell.
That's it.
Here's the tricky part. What makes building quantum computers hard? I'm not doing this with humans, but we can do this with hardware in the lab now, where we can live out multiple possibilities simultaneously. They can talk to each other, collaborate on results, and the number of possibilities explodes exponentially, rather like the problems, these vast problems we want to solve. There's something called decoherence, so I'll try to describe it in a simple way. Imagine there...
I'll just let that play.
Or a couple versions of yourself. So I put you in a state of being thirsty and not thirsty simultaneously. And right now there's no reason for me to separate, so I can collaborate on some problem. But over there's a drinking fountain. I decohere. That drinking fountain interacts differently with my different selves. One goes to the drinking fountain, the other one walks the other way. I can no longer talk. I decohere, and I lose the power of that collaboration. So, elements in the environment will interact with systems in such a way to separate these paths so that they can't talk to each other anymore, and I lose the power of this quantum computation. So, what would you do? If I can eliminate elements of the environment, get rid of every fountain, every bookstore, every deli, so that I can keep those parallel strands communicating as they work on these very difficult problems, I might be able to build these magical machines.
Got to get rid of other elements.
You see routinely in the lab for the last
so this thing can work.
Quantum tunneling. I can have an object on one side of a barrier that will disappear, appear on the other side of the barrier without passing through that barrier.
Hear that?
This allows you to explore regions that would otherwise be inaccessible to you. There's something called quantum entanglement. Really.
Let me do that again because I was talking. I want you to understand quantum tunneling. You see one thing on one side, and without it going through the object, it appears over on the other side. Quantum tunneling. I'm talking about, this is too much power.
communicating as they work on these very difficult problems, I might be able to build these magical machines. A couple of other effects you see routinely in the lab for the last 50 years, quantum tunneling. I can have an object on one side of a barrier that will disappear, appear on the other side of the barrier without passing through that barrier. This allows you to explore regions that would otherwise be inaccessible to you. There's something called quantum entanglement, really bothered Albert Einstein, didn't believe it. He actually showed that quantum theory predicted this, which has been confirmed again and again in laboratories all over the world. I'll tell you also a prosaic example. Imagine you had a pair of dice in London, I have a pair of dice in the US. We roll them 1 million times, and I get random results. If they were quantum entangled, I fly to London, we compare our lists, and 1 million rolls out of 1 million, they're exactly the same. With no physical interaction between these dice, they somehow are correlated perfectly across space and time. This effect now has been used to do something called quantum teleportation, wherein I have a message I want to send to a remote location. The information disappears, appears in a remote location without a signal traversing the intervening space. Guess who wants that capability? Well, it allows for perfect, secure communication. This has been done over 300 kilometers now. And this gives you an idea. Okay, if I want to build a quantum computer, I have to take some objects that have these quantum mechanical properties. So instead of bits that are either a 0 or 1, I build them out of quantum bits. Each quantum bit here, you can't see very well, I can put in a superposition of being a 0 and 1 simultaneously. Okay, so it can live out 2 possibilities, like on the left. If I combine that with another qubit that can be in 2 possibilities, now that combined set, I get 4 possibilities. Add another qubit, you double the number of possible paths you could explore again. And you can see that the number of possibilities explodes exponentially as you add individual units. And this is exploding in the same way as the complexity of the kind of problems I think we need to solve as a civilization.
What problems we need to solve? What problems we need to solve to those degrees? I'm all right just the way it is. Y'all leave the sun alone. Quit throwing poison in my water. Lauren Hill you say it's raining, but you're really poisoning my water. Quit messing with us. We don't need all of that. I don't need all that. You need all of that. They doing us, y'all. They doing us. They are doing a number on us. And the thing that really, really trips me out most of all is that they learn themselves. So they're giving them these nets that are like brain sensors, like brain paths. They're giving them these brain paths. They're mimicking the brain. And they're giving it to them. And they're going to be able to take that and double it and quadruple it and so forth and so on. Or do they need these people? I mean, I think they need them just for the simple fact because they need a pattern to mimic. They need a pattern to mimic. After they get their pattern down pat, they gonna run with that thing. These are gods. These are demigods. They talking about they not good or evil. These beings that they are helping to come into this world because they need to figure out problems. What problems? We ain't got no problems but the ones they making. And these people can't be that stupid. They not that stupid. They heathens. They heathens. They trying to figure out how to live without bowing their knee to the true creator. Without obeying our Father in heaven. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. And they are already probing people's brains with social media. They already probing brains. I'm going to let Lauren Hill's social media play. Because that's what she's talking about. a Google station. I'm talking about they got a whole platform, Google do. Big platform where they just stifling people's minds. Oh, people, wake up, wake up, wake up. I got enough time to let this whole thing play. The pit is about to open. The angel with the key to the bottomless pit. I think Jordy Rose actually called it the key to the abyss, the tsunami of demons or beings. They call quantum matter the key to the abyss.
Afraid to address the reality before me. Too proud to confess that I'm addicted to a lie. So I seek temporary.
And they get us addicted to lies and games.
Though the truth is telling me
that's a simulator. Social media is a simulator. A place where you can go pretend and be whoever you want to be. Do as thou wilt.
This emotional tantrum has become sort of an anthem plan every time I need to take a little trip. To hide this condemnation, I'll find a combination of man-made simulation to deny my situation.
She talking about the simulator too. First time I heard that. Man-made simulation.
Distorting what I see, reporting back to me a sense of false security.
And I don't feel safe with that stuff. I feel better when I open my good Bible.
Desperately in search of ways to alter my sensation. There's no equilibrium. Inebriated till I'm numb, intoxicated till I'm dumb. To avoid confrontation, these social drugs messing with my mind.
Y'all all on there talking about we at Hardee's and we at Benny's and we at this restaurant and this fancy restaurant and we doing this sport activity and all of that foolishness. They got y'all right where they want you. Meanwhile, they popping off a parallel universe that they intend to make your living hell.
Is our emotional reality. These political, traditional, and ethical stimulants and social etiquette won't let us be too upset with the way things really are.
Gotta get my bike to the bike shop. I caught a flat yesterday.
And the religious structure tells God wants us to suffer. To support a situation we all know is our obligation.
Gotta go way over to Covington.
They'll just got your reputation like my
to a bike shop. It's a drag being a woman and ain't got no man. But my father makes sure I'm able.
Find another means. You told you be too extreme. And if you wanted to get clean, they'll just pull those social strings, holding up their social norms, defying noble things. Now we're all stuck in tradition.
Gotta stay covered in the blood.
Opposition, too afraid to contradict.
Halloween. Y'all can't let go of Halloween. Y'all can't let go of that simulator Halloween.
Instead of saving you and me, they're just enslaving you and me.
I can understand Easter and Christmas because they throw Jesus off in there. But Halloween, y'all can't shake that one. Don't get caught in this living hell. This fake earth that seems like it's going to be a very fragile place to live. Everything you do stay covered in the blood. I plead the blood over my clothes. Fashion Nova, baby, they got a spirit. No head, no arms, no legs. She just a torso. Like them little mannequins. Plead the blood over everything. Your hair weave, your perfumes you get, your lotions, your soaps. Plead the blood of Jesus over everything this earth has to offer and purify. Give it to the Lord. Jewelry, watch the kind of jewelry you wear. Keep it simple. Don't love money, just pay your bills. Be simple. Live a simple life. Don't compromise. No compromising. This is not the time to compromise. It's getting tight. Getting real. Walk that chalk. Walk the chalk. And on that note, I can't think of anything else I need to say. That was Lauren Hill, just in case I didn't say. I usually, if you watch any of my videos, you already know who she is. Like I said, I can't think of anything else that I might need to say. I think I covered all my thoughts. Thank you for your time, and may the Lord be with you.